request to make too.
Recruiting.
Once Evan,
When you present
All right,
yourself,
goodbye, Sandy.
you don't want anything negative either.
Time is it, okay? You don't want to my room. I don't get up there.
On the way home, his prescription will be the CVS, right? Yeah. And, there's one missing, Flomax. Yeah. Well, I'm usually when the bottle is empty, I would reorder it, so I don't know. Maybe somebody put the bottle in choice. No, I'm in charge of Daddy's room. I'm in charge of all of it. I have to use it, and then there's rooms that in case they complain. So. I'll go check, but it's.
Is it stuff, Dad, the stuff you take for your hand if it gets in the plane, is it a steroid? The stuff you take for your wrist,
It's something for inflammation.
is it a steroid?
Bill,
Is it a steroid?
probably yes.
No, we don't know.
I do know, yes.
Is it a steroid?
Look it up, Sandy.
You're right. Gee,
It's definitely steroids.
Prednisone was a steroid.
That's prednisone.
We don't know.
Thank you. That's prednisone.
That's not prednisone.
That is prednisone. It's
It's
prednisone.
not prednisone.
It's original. Then apologize afterwards. Thank you. Shit. What? Thank you. You hear that, Sandy?
I didn't ask you. You taking an anti-diabetic medication?
No.
Yes, you are.
You're not.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
How often is it
Whenever I need it.
you taking the thing for your wrist every day?
Whatever mommy gives me.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and add, it makes your face bigger.
No fooling. Okay? That's your constipated.
Yeah, do you need to take it?
Obviously, I do. Any other questions you have?
No, no, I'll let you know.
Please.
Don't worry. All right, Matthew, I got a text and never know.
yeah, I know. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, it's lunch. No,
Disconnect the other one.
got it. Oh, there's two.
I got it. I got it. I got it.
This one we're Xing out. You've been removed. You know. Oh, it's the other one. I'm sorry. Hey, man. Sorry, it's laundry day.
Laundry day, good. Doing laundry's important.
We have to get everything out and in before people take it out by themselves. So I will need to interrupt this in 20 minutes because one of my dryers will be done. But all right. It's here.
All right, go. Are you recording this?
Yeah.
I didn't have this. But you want it? We had a glitch last time.
Yeah, I texted you it.
Oh, yes. Sorry. It's raining here. When rain happens, everything gets screwed up. I got it. Get in a minute. Hi, Grandpa. Don't you love technology?
I don't know. What?
Yeah.
Your neighborhood when you were a child. Could you, I don't know, describe what that was like? Or, I don't know, do you remember like your friends in the neighborhood?
Absolutely. Yes.
Like what were some of their names?
Bruce, Eugene, Errol, Errol, Dennis.
Oh, another Dennis.
Ivan, Norman,
So what'd you guys do? Like
a punch ball,
punch ball.
stick ball, kick the cook can. Anything that didn't have to use money.
And like you guys would just go out, your parents wouldn't really care what you were doing.
Exactly correct.
Just go play games in the street or whatever.
Who?
Just go play games like in the street or ride your bike
In the
somewhere.
street, yes. Ride a bicycle, 5-6 miles.
Nice.
And
All those friends that you listed, did you have like a best friend?
yeah.
Who
Yeah.
was?
Punch ball, football.
Your friends, Louis Crusoe and Michael Bolte?
No, I was
Oh,
like,
she's out of the picture, but
yeah.
He's a
where did you meet him? Or where
Did
was
you see it? Yeah, from the street. And Dennis come out.
Ah, okay. But like, did you know him from school?
Excuse me?
Did you know?
Most of them were ahead of me.
Okay.
Some of us didn't. We were never in the same class. It was Diane, Maureen.
Do you remember any teachers at school that
Yes.
you like?
I remember
Stand out.
most of my teachers. I mean, the name,
I don't know. Was there any one or two that you really liked?
yeah, Mr. Fisher, Mrs. Kirby, Mrs. Smith.
Elementary school.
This is elementary school.
Impressed.
Lemonthal.
Did you ever lose a tooth at school?
What?
Did you ever lose a tooth at school?
No.
That's how my road.
You have to watch him again?
Happy?
Yeah.
Feel free to hop in, Evan.
So do you remember what any of your summers were like?
Like, what did you do during the summer with those friends? Like I
went to some of them I went to camp.
oh. Do you know like what the name of that camp was?
Yeah.
What was?
Why?
Why, like the Y or something?
Why AJ?
Is that a Jewish camp?
Yes.
I've never heard of it.
Hebrew Association as opposed to YMCA.
Oh.
YMCA is Christian Association, and HA is Young Men's Hebrew Association.
They're organizations that have activities for families, and over the summer they ran camps for kids while their parents worked.
Oh, cool.
No, parents didn't work then. All right, one parent worked. It was just to do something during the summer.
Do you,
Schools.
sorry. remember what your relationship with your grandparents was like when you were young?
Do you remember your relationship with your grandparents when you were a
Very
child?
close.
Did they live nearby though? I don't remember.
About 3 miles.
Okay.
Which set, your father's grandparents or your mother's parents?
Both.
And like, would you go over there for like Jewish holidays? Or you?
Both.
Okay.
Weekends, holidays, always walked.
Because it was close enough. You could just walk over.
No.
Ah.
I would say it was 3 miles.
They have to save the nickel for the bus.
Correct.
Do you remember who taught you to drive or how you learned to drive?
Like, how'd you learn to drive? Like, did your
My
father
fa-
teach you?
father.
Okay.
In Queens?
Yeah, because you
Yes.
had to be 18 years old in New York.
What was your neighborhood like? Like, do you remember like the kind of how people acted in the neighborhood? Was it?
I don't know. He said they played
Oh, he
lots
did.
of
I didn't
games
hear. I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
biked around.
So Dad, you lived in Brooklyn till you were 10,
11.
11. It's a very different neighborhood than Queens.
Yes.
Okay. So guys, his friends when he's in Brooklyn, these are all like tenement homes, right, Dad? Row houses almost?
No.
Apartments, you didn't run it in your own home, you were in an apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a tenement house?
Okay, you're right. I was thinking more New York City. It wasn't. They were real. I saw that house. They were
Yes,
all
you
next
were.
to each other,
It
right?
is.
In Queens, there was a lot more space. There were a little bit bigger homes.
Do you remember like when you were growing up listening to radio shows or
Yes.
watching movies?
Yes.
And like,
Radio show, not movie.
okay.
Did you go to a movie when you were a kid?
Yeah, it was every Saturday.
In
Oh,
Brooklyn
really?
or in Queens?
Queens.
With friends or with family?
Friends.
Who'd you go with?
Names I gave you.
Yeah, all the
No,
friends.
in Queens, it was, there was two
She asked me
children.
Brooklyn.
Okay, you just said you went to the movies in Queens.
I went to the movies in Queens too every.
Oh, Brooklyn and Queens. Did you go with your family?
No.
So it was a friends thing.
Yes.
How much was the movie?
During the week was 14 cents. During this, later during the day was 20 cents.
Did you ever sneak in?
Yes.
Did you ever get caught?
Also snuck in.
Did you like any like celebrities or actors? Like were there any that you really liked? Like, okay. Was there any one person who did like
Like
radio?
John Wayne.
Yeah.
Is there something that you
Yeah, I
admire?
like John Wayne. I liked Robert Mitchum. I liked his name. It was in fencing movies.
Zorro?
What?
I don't know, Zorro or whatever.
Who?
Zorro.
No, I'm giving you the actor's name.
Oh,
Somebody said it, there we go.
okay.
Anybody else? Tyrone Power. I like
Who was your first crush?
Lindsay.
What grade?
10. Lindsay, what the hell is her name?
Doesn't sound Jewish.
From Nashville.
Did you go to the movies on date, like for a date? Or did you go to do something
Later
else?
on, yes.
And like, would
Tell
you?
them about our first date.
Sure.
No, go ahead.
Someone tell
Okay.
us.
Go ahead.
Grandpa took me to the movies, and first of all, I didn't see it because I was wearing glasses, and I didn't want to wear my glasses, so I didn't see the movie.
Okay. I'm sure it was a great
And then
movie.
Grandpa went down one-way street the wrong way.
I hope you didn't crash.
Obviously not.
Do you remember any of that?
Oh,
Okay.
we saw carpetbaggers.
Did you meet her parents before you took her on a date? or like
No.
well after?
Well, he came into the house and he met whatever family was there. My father was working, my father was working,
Okay.
my sisters let him in.
So he saw whoever was
Was in the
around.
family, yeah, he had to come to the house.
Have you checked out the house before?
No,
I mean, you only lived a half mile.
no,
How did you meet though?
Good, ask Grandpa.
That
how
I
we
want to
met.
know.
Grandpa, how did we meet?
my cousin lived next door to me. He was a year older than her or two, and he used to take her to West Point.
Grandma.
Right. He went to college there. And my father told me that Billy took an attractive
There
girl.
was one day, Billy was not my boyfriend, all right? But we were part of a circle of friends.
Okay.
And Bill went to West Point.
Yeah.
And he invited me to go up to West Point. The most exciting thing in my life was to get on a bus and go to West Point. Again, we were not boyfriend and girlfriend then, and you were treated they just treated all the visitors, girlfriends beautifully. And then when Bill came home, again, we were part of a circle of friends. So we're in the backyard, and his backyard and Bill's backyard, there was no barrier between them. There was just grass because they lived in that house that was
Yeah.
attached together. Right? So I'm in the backyard with my friends, and then his mother sees me. Now, Dennis, you can say, what did your mother tell you?
You tell her.
No, you haven't.
I say she was attractive.
So he took Bill out to the beach. Was it to the beach? And he gave him the 3 degree. You know, who am I? Get some information. He knew
Yeah.
that I was going to college.
And I knew all the answers.
So he calls me up. He doesn't say that he's Bill's cousin. And he says he knows somebody from Queens College who knows me, and he's home from dental school, but I like to go out with him. Well, I was working for a dentist. I'd never been on a blind date, but I thought this was pretty neat that, we'll have something to talk about. So he picks me up and we had a lovely time. I even came back home and I told my parents I'm going to marry him.
Did you really?
I did. And we went out several times. And one day I wanted a double date. I only knew that he lived in the neighborhood. He went to Queens College.
Did you go on a double date with him and Billy was there or something?
No, it was
Okay.
just my friends.
thought that
my
was-
friends. And so I wanted to call him up to say, would it be all right if we doubled with, this other couple? So you open up the white pages of the phone book
Yep.
and you look for Rich. And I knew he had to live within a mile of me. And I noticed the address was next door to Billy. And I knew the house next door to Billy was his
Was
cousin.
attached.
Now I'm feeling
Yeah.
terrible. I feel that I have, because I was still visiting Bill once in a while.
Interesting.
I felt absolutely awful, only to find out that Grandpa deceived me, that he knew all along that he was Bill's cousin.
Yeah.
So
Fun
it was
story.
Bill's parents that was very disappointed because they wanted him to marry a nice Jewish girl.
And he did.
He did not.
Grandpa,
Yeah,
do you remember what holidays were like in your house? Do you remember like who cooked? Do you remember like where you went for them?
So like for Jewish holidays in the house, who cooked, how religious were they,
my grandma,
like stuff like that.
was very religious. The other side was,
Which side was?
side you don't know, my Bobby is a
His father's parents.
father's side.
But his grandmother did all the cooking for him. When his mother went out to work, which was very unusual in those days, and your grandmother would cook for you, right, Dennis?
That's correct.
So did
But-
like I don't know, the length, let's say like a Passover Seder. Was that normally, a few
I was
hours?
at my,
Okay.
my father's parents.
Okay. And his father's parents. So was that really religious or not?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
religious one.
Did you sit through a whole Seder?
Excuse
You
me?
Did you
must,
sit
you
through the
must.
whole Seder?
Yes,
Everybody did in those days.
my grandparents on that side used to sit at stable, separate things at synagogue.
So
They were separated.
they were separated?
From synagogue.
So when did you start getting into
Uh-oh,
tennis?
connection.
When I was about 32.
Yeah, that's after college. So.
Yeah, we were
It was
married.
interesting.
He was always into basketball. So he and his friends would always play basketball.
Okay.
Right then? Okay, and handball. These were two easy sports in New York. There were no tennis courts in New York.
Baseball before you played tennis.
What?
Did you play baseball before you played
Yeah,
tennis?
played baseball in college.
Yeah, so these were things that were in New York. Baseball, basketball, handball, you know. Nobody played tennis. You had to live out in the island to have a tennis court.
Yeah. So it wasn't until later when you moved.
To Cheshire, which we had our own tennis court.
Yeah.
Well, he played in Waterbury.
I lived in Connecticut then. so-
Yeah, that's true. Did you take tennis lessons?
No,
Oh wow.
So how'd you get a racket? You played with a friend first?
one of the records.
And who'd you play with in the beginning?
Well, people in the neighborhood,
In Waterbury or in
in
Cheshire?
the water.
Because he was playing tennis when Tammy fell off the slide.
Mm-hmm.
That was Waterbury.
I just said that.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Did your grandparents or anyone in your family ever talk about the Holocaust?
No,
Never brought up or anything.
no.
He had relatives in Israel. Ask him about his relatives in Israel.
Well, there were also people who came to the United States in the early 50s that were Holocaust survivors.
Excuse me?
I know that Grandma and Grandpa helped sponsor and help people, their
Yeah,
family
but they
members.
wanted family.
Oh, they were just. Okay.
people.
Well, I thought Grandpa, Benjamin's brother had a son who came over. And Grandpa helped him. Benjamin helped him. Didn't
Yeah.
like him, but helped him.
Right.
Right? Who
Mhm.
was that?
Label.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So he was a Holocaust survivor.
Yeah, but they didn't talk.
He wasn't a Holocaust, well,
I thought he was in a camp.
he was in a camp, it wasn't, a German camp,
What was it?
a Russian camp.
Wow. Did a lot of your family, Grandma said you had relatives in Israel. Did they move as the Holocaust was like started?
Turned out before.
Okay, so they got out before it started. And like, do you remember ever seeing like segregation or stuff like that?
No.
Okay.
Dental school, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was it like separated bathrooms and stuff like that, or
No.
just kind of
Leave him alone.
okay?
Most of the segregation was in the South.
Yeah.
All right, and New York always assimilated. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
And there was some discrimination against Jews in dental school.
Oh, was there?
Absolutely.
So you, for the short time you were in dental school, you noticed that?
Absolutely.
Tell them the story about how you handed in somebody else's work and still got a bad mark.
This guy was brilliant in carving.
Uh-huh.
And I started to test the teachers. Me.
Yeah.
I handed in his work. I got the same number, I got same marks I got
Oh,
before.
really? Because the teachers also, I thought when you said like, that people didn't like Jews so much, you were gonna say because of the other students, but it's teachers also.
No, teachers.
Okay.
And I think the same thing in the doctor program. If it wasn't for Goldberg or whatever his name was, who protected you, they also didn't like Jews in his in Texas
Yeah.
in his PhD
Oh, yeah.
program.
When you guys moved to Texas, do you remember similar things? Like, did you remember anyone not liking you because you were Jewish in Texas?
Now,
Okay, tell him about the time.
buddy.
I know.
We're good.
Okay, so we just
Okay,
moved
okay.
to our apartment in Texas. And tell them about the guy who knocked on your door.
I rented a car and I parked, didn't know, the parking space.
Sure.
Guy comes knocking on my door
A
with a
big
gun in
huge
his
guy
hand,
with a gun.
and he says, you know, my parking space. I said, I'm sorry, I'll move.
It was terrifying.
What, like he had a pistol?
gun.
Like, okay.
A gun.
Yeah, like a pistol. Oh, no. Like a rifle or a shotgun or
Yeah.
something. Oh, okay. So he was actually carrying.
That was our
Okay.
introduction to Texas.
That's fun.
That's Texas.
Why'd you guys move to Texas again?
You know, PhD.
Okay, that's fine.
And Dennis was supposed to start teaching out on the island. He finished his master's degree.
Okay.
Right, and he got a job teaching out on the island. And I just graduated from college, and I was going to work in Manhattan for a Jewish CPA firm. But he had applied for a PhD program, and he got accepted. So instead of, we were supposed to get married the following June after I graduated. We
Sure.
moved our wedding up we were supposed to get married in December. We moved our wedding up to August, and instead of me starting to work for the Jewish firm, I took a temporary job over the summer. Dennis finished his master's degree. He had 1 week left when we got married. So the first night that we were married, all his friends came to visit me because he had to go to school. And then when we got done with school, we got on a plane. We had no money. Whatever was our wedding money, that's what we had. Plus, I think I had $40 in my pocket.
Good for you.
Um,
Okay.
And we flew to Texas and got an apartment. We slept, because we couldn't afford hotels. So we slept on the floor without a bed until we got some really cheap furniture. And that's how we started our married life.
Nice. Interesting story.
Did you see a roach for the first time?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
They're very large
I don't know what you're.
roaches in Texas. That's when we got a
To
bed.
move to dry. From wash to dry.
Clover.
What do you want?
I have to go put my stuff in the dryer.
Fine, go.
We have to go
Keep
move.
just
going.
sit
Sorry. Sorry. No, keep going. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Fine. When you were grandpa, when you were in school, like growing up, did you like science and like, I don't know, biology
No.
and stuff?
No.
So how'd you?
He liked math.
So why'd you end up being?
Yeah, that's what, I'm just wondering how you ended
My
up
father
teacher.
convinced me to be a dentist.
His father was
Okay.
a dental assistant and wanted him to be a dentist.
Yes.
That's how I got into biology.
Okay. You went to dentist school and then you liked the biology part.
No.
No, he always liked math. He did his master's degree in math.
Yeah.
He was going to teach math,
Okay.
right then?
We got in or not?
Sure. Yeah. You're done?
I was done when we started.
All right then.
Wait for Evan to come back.
We'll say goodbye to Evan as soon as he's moving his clothes and then we'll.
Do you not like talking about your growing up years?
I've said this 100 times.
Yeah, but they're recording it. That's what they're
I
doing.
recorded it yesterday. I hate repeating things. Yes.
Okay.
All right, last thing. Just talk about Louis Crutoy and Mike Goldstein on your street. You know, how you became like really good friends.
He lives on the block.
They're the same age as you.
What?
You're the same age. You're all the same age.
Yeah.
Lots of kids on you.
So we moved in today.
Yeah, so we all lived in neighborhoods where there were always 4 or 5 kids on the block your age.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, those were your friends that you met after school
Mm-hmm.
and rode bikes. And
And played stickball and all those.
Yeah.
games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long it takes, but. All right.
I don't think it's going to be that far away.
All right, so just say bye to everyone.
Yeah, we'll say goodbye when he comes back, and then we can go do whatever. So,
So Dad, if Grandpa hadn't pushed you to go to dental school, what would you have done?
Me, teach math.
How come you didn't do that? You were over 20. Why did you do what you
My father.
wanted? Even after you got married?
Wait, okay, so there was one time that Grandpa was driving back from dental school in Ohio. And
And
they
he
got
didn't turn around,
a
right?
speeding
Yeah.
ticket, all right?
Yeah.
And he called him, his father tells him, tell him what your father told you.
Told me on the bus.
Go back to,
I know, that's what
and get on the
he's
bus, he
doing.
listened to his
Okay,
father.
But the PhD program, you just got married, you still listen to him? You had a master's, you could have just been teaching.
No, the PhD is, he wanted to do some, figure out what else.
You wanted to do the PhD
Yeah,
program, Dad?
Yeah, that was his decision.
Why in biology? Why not in math?
But he already had 2 years of medical school training, which was biology.
Yeah, but you had a master's in math. Why didn't you continue with math?
I didn't like that. I liked, I had my master's degree already.
Okay, so you're doing something. a
I
little
wanted to teach in college.
different. You wanted to teach in college.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you go work for that New Jersey company?
I finished college.
Because he couldn't get a teaching job then. We sent out 100 resumes, all right, maybe even more. And this was the only job that he got. And the only reason he got this job was because he had 2 years of dental school training. They were doing dental research. He had a PhD and he had 2 years of dental school training. So we moved to Jersey, which meant they paid for us to come up north and move our furniture, and he had a job. But in those 6 months that he was working for Warner Lambert, he had sent out more resumes, and then this community college job came through.
So it took him a while to get the job in Connecticut.
That's my
Absolutely.
point. It took us months before he got a teaching job.
I didn't know.
And that's why it's good to know these
Were
things.
you supplementing the income at all? Were you working?
No, I had 2 little babies.
know.
We were very poor, which is why having a job, well, okay, we lived, the first year I worked, and I made a really good salary working for Price Waterhouse. Then you came along. Then Dad had a teaching assistant for $2,000 a year, and I had a teaching assistant for $2,000 a year. I started my master's in three states, right? So we lived on that with his parents helping us out for rent. And then after Tammy was born, it was February, by May, school was done, he got his degree, and we moved to Jersey where he was making very good money for 6 months. He was a scientist with a PhD. So and I stayed home with the 2 of you, and then you also had a part-time job at a college in Jersey. I never saw you. You were either playing basketball at night or going to teach at night. And that's where we lived in Parsippany. But you had one night a week you were teaching at some Jersey
Yeah,
college.
Parsippany University.
Anyway, then when we moved to Waterbury, and I went for the interview with, Dad had gotten the job, and we left you with the grandparents, and we went to find an apartment, and we met the dean of the school, and he turns to me and he says, "And what do you do?" And I said, "I'm a CPA. I only had a bachelor's degree then, some thing, but for a community college, that was good enough." So he offered me a teaching job. It was just 3 mornings
your
a week, and it didn't interfere with Dad, so we didn't need a babysitter. And so I taught my first class, and then I decided to finish my master's degree at Bridgeport.
I remember that.
Okay, we moved from Waterbury after 3 years to Prospect. We rented a house, and then we moved into Courier Woods. So I finished my master's degree, and I got the first semester I was out. I taught part time at University of New Haven and in Danbury. And then I got a full-time job at the University of New Haven, yeah. And then I did my PhD
You did your PhD
at UMass.
UMass.
Right. I worked 2 days a week.
I remember, that was
I
my
drove
dad
up to
getting in a
UMass
car
2 days a
accident.
week. No, the car accident was when I was teaching at that one semester, I was teaching as an adjunct at the University of New Haven. Okay?
Okay,
all
so
right,
that's one last thing. What,
One last.
this
thing.
was the last thing we asked grandma when we did this with her before. What piece of advice would you give your children or grandchildren?
What?
What piece of advice or knowledge or anything would you give your children or
Follow your
grandchildren?
dream.
Follow your dreams?
Mhm.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Cool. All right, we can go do whatever now.
I have.
Bye, Evan.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for including me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, excuse me, why do you need to be helped up?
It's not here. I don't need to be helped out.
Wait, what does he do? Wait, whoa.
He's walking
What
away.
is What is he doing? He
He's
doesn't have a
going-
walker.
Going to the
This
bathroom.
one.
No, the walker's it's over here. He's fine.
Turn it to mom.
He's fine. He's just
Mom, grandma, what did I
He's-
just say?
Evan, I'm gonna hang up now. Bye.
Somebody go help him.
No, he's fine. He's going to the bathroom.
Mom,
He's in the bathroom.
no, turn it to mom.
No, I'm gonna hang up. I'm gonna leave you in suspense for the rest of the
Can't do
day.
that to me. Hold on. Wait a minute. What did I just say? Hold on. Mom.